Welcome back to the Motion Podcast. Today we're talking about growth and how growth means leaving your old life behind. A lot of people think this phase is meant to come easy and you're going to know exactly what is going on. But in reality, a lot of self-doubt can come in and you're going to feel confused. And that's why positive change can sometimes feel uncomfortable. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode.
Yay, that's a Marzi intro.
Yay.
That's good.
A lot of the times people often think growth is meant to be this familiar process. You're meant to know exactly what's going on. So why do you feel like growth means letting go of this old version of yourself?
I feel like to become a new version, you have to let go of the old version, you know? For those listening, I'm sick, so I sound a bit weird.
What was that?
What?
Just, you know.
Mate, it's how I sound. It's because I'm sick, mate.
Okay. It's
All
funny.
right, so I feel like growth, to become a better person or to like level up, you have to go through something, like usually. And then people mistaken going through that thing or going through a hard period in your life as to like my life is shit or like something's not right or something's not good. Like growth often happens in the worst periods of your life. That's usually when you're growing. Like for example, in the gym, for you to grow your muscle, you have to take it through like...
Be uncomfortable
yes.
in your training
sessions.
So
it's the same as like, it applies to everything in life. If you try to be comfortable, being comfortable for most people would just be sitting at home watching Netflix. But do you think you're going to accomplish anything doing that in your life? No, because you're not doing anything. You're just staying comfortable. Being uncomfortable is the only way you're going to grow in anything. Like there is no... You're not going to grow in anything else.
Yeah, especially when you're trying to change this version of yourself, you have to let go of old habits because those habits actually can't continue with you in your day-to-day life because those habits are actually what has built you into the person you are already now.
Yeah.
So those habits are so familiar because you've built them for like, 10, 15 years.
Yeah, and that's who you are. You're not trying to be the person you are now. You're trying to become someone different. So to become someone different, sometimes you ask yourself, you want to be like this or you want to do this, you want to accomplish this. So what would that person do? You think they'd do what you're doing now? You think that they'd like, I don't know, go out partying and drinking and shit? You think that's what someone that owns a business is going to do every weekend?
Yeah, every weekend.
Like you need to ask yourself sometimes like stuff like that. Or like say you want to, I don't know, you want to get in shape or something. Do you think the person that is in shape is eating the same as you? Probably not. It's probably why they don't look like you. Not because they're different. It's just because they don't have the same habits as you. The things that you do every day will shape your outcome of your life, like the trajectory of your life. If you do lazy and everything, you'll be lazy and you'll look lazy. That's the best way to explain it.
It was a really good quote and it slipped my mind, but it was something about like how the habits you do today can either shape you into the person you want to be or continue something like continue in the same path that you're already on. And they will affect you tomorrow or like they'll keep affecting you until you change them. But it's just like people don't believe like, I don't believe that I can change my life. How do you not believe that you can change your life when everything that you have believed has led you to where you are now? So it just proves that everything that you believe is exactly that what has gotten you into the position that you are in now.
Yeah, so I think that's why so many people just stay stuck in the bubble, never do anything. It's easier to stay stuck in the bubble.
Yeah, because it's comfortable, it's familiar. Doing something outside your comfort zone, that's why it feels so scary.
It's actually harder.
It is harder, and that's why people don't want to do it. But for like videography, like I was scared to start. I don't know if you were scared to start.
Not really. I wasn't too bad.
Oh, well.
I wasn't. I was more scared with motion.
Yeah,
that's what scares me more. Is the brand. The brand. For yous that don't know, like I just lost $4,500 on a bulk order. That's pretty scary, but it comes with it, you know. And it's like the more you feel this uncomfortable, like that feeling, the more the less it affects you. It stops affecting you as much as someone else. I'll tell maybe my mum, I just spent this much money on something that's investing in my business. And she's like, holy fuck, like what the fuck? No way.
Or they'd be like, told you it wouldn't go well.
Yeah, or like, oh, you shouldn't have spent that money. I'm like, what am I going to spend it on? Should I go to fucking Bali and spend the money? What's that going to do? It's going to give me a holiday and then it's done. It's gone. The money's gone regardless. Like, so I think a lot of it, like Malia said, it's just beliefs. It's how you think of stuff. So people can look at like, say, for example, like I said, investing money, it's scary, but why? Why is it scary? What are you going to do with the money? What else are you going to do with it? you're going to lose it regardless. Maybe you can safely invest it into a house and be 100% sure that it's going to go up, but how much is it going to go up in a year?
Because it's a risk. People don't know what's going to happen after you spent it. Well, it's like you buy a mentor, you hire a coach to help you with something. You don't know you're going to get results until 6 months time or like a year's time. It's like you're trusting that process, you're trusting that person. So when things fail in your business, you're obviously going to have doubt, but you know that you trust yourself enough to be like, no, I'm going to keep going, because you're believing that this is going to work.
And then what I wanted to touch on with the house thing, because I kind of like didn't really finish on that. If you buy a house in 1 year, it's not going to go up much. Like the value, like the more risk you take, the actual more reward you're going to get. It's how it works. It's like how it works in everything. Like the more risk you take, the more chance you have of separating yourself with everyone else. Everyone buys a house.
Yeah.
That's why everyone stays in the position they are, because they don't look at any other investment other than, property. But property can only do so much. Property can help when you've got a lot of fucking money and you can buy like 3 or 4 houses, you know?
Well,
like it's a very streamlined way of becoming rich, obviously just investing in property, but you're only going to become rich when you're maybe like 50 or 60 because you've done all this work, and which is fine. Some people want to live like that, but that's playing the safe road. Like there's not much risk. Like there's not much at all. Maybe the worst thing is you buy a house and then someone puts a shopping centre near your house and your house value goes down or something like that. Like,
wouldn't it go up because of
No, not right next to it. Like if you're like, say like if you're in Secret Harbour, people getting pissed off on those houses because the shops are right next to it. No one wants to live next to a McDonald's, bro.
Yeah. But like you can even think of like your own self as an investment. Like you are investing in yourself and you're investing in your future. And the more that you invest in yourself, the better return on investment you're going to get down the line.
But it's risky.
Yeah, but like now that like you have taken the first step in motion, or like me, I've taken like the first steps in videography, I find it easier now because I've done it for so long to do things, and I believe in myself, trust myself that I'm going to be okay.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that everything that you've been through in life, you've been okay. So why do you not think that this is also going to be okay?
Yeah. It's the best way of explaining it, literally. And like, to me now, I will go and buy maybe, for example, like, this is the best way to explain it. Like, I can go and buy now a $3,000 lens and it doesn't really affect me. Yeah. Whereas the first time I ever bought a camera with like $4,000, I'm like, holy fuck. Like you're overthinking it. You're thinking about everything. But at the end of the day, you've now built the proof of like, okay, if I just invest in myself, there's nothing better to do.
Yeah.
What is it going to do? It's either going to sit in my bank or I'm going to invest and something can come from it. Yeah. Like, yes, you need to be smart and not just buy dumb shit, but that's an example of like something that it's uncomfortable, spending a lot of money on maybe a camera, or maybe you want to start another business, any other business. You're going to have to spend money. Maybe it's a detailing business. You have to buy all the shit. You can cheap out and buy the cheap stuff, but...
Yeah, then what? And then in 3 months' time, people are going to complain.
Or you're just not going to be as good as
people. Or even like a cafe.
Yeah.
Where you open up some place and you just cheap out because it's easier. Or you hire someone to do a job for you, but you always look for the cheapest one, but it's a shit job.
Yeah.
So now you're paying more money to actually get someone to fix it.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's just like you might as well do it properly and do things that you know are going to be hard and just stick it out, because your brain is going to want to stop because it doesn't like being unfamiliar.
Yeah.
So it will do things that will sabotage you. And that's why you grieve your old self, which is normal. But the reason why you would grieve your old self, like you can feel sad, you can feel down, it's because your brain wants to go back. So there will always be times where you can self-sabotage, but it's not letting the self-sabotage ruin your progress. It's more like, okay, I've fallen back into some old habits, which is normal, like you're only human. So learning to pick yourself back up and learning that it is okay to have moments where you feel like you're not going to do this or you're not going to be enough to do this, but flipping the narrative and changing that story and being like, I've had a slip up, I've made some mistakes, but I'm going to get back on my feet and keep trying. Because people think like progress is going to be like this.
Linear.
Progress isn't linear at all.
No, it's not. And that's why I want to bring it back to the brand, because it's the easiest way to explain it for me. Like, when $4,500 of stock gets fucked, it's pretty easy to sit there and be like, I'm not doing this anymore. Yeah. And that's exactly what I thought, but because I've thought it 100 times, I knew that I'm not going to stop. I knew that that thought is only like, it's going to linger for a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'll just wait it out. I was like, I'll just wait it because I know it's going to go away. It's not going to, I know that I'm not going to stop, number one. And number two, I know that that extreme level of doubt, it only lasts so long. Same with that extreme level of motivation you get to go do something. It only lasts so long. Feelings are temporary in both bad and good. So sometimes, I don't know, people post about it online. They're like, oh, everyone when they get that 2 a.m. motivation to start the business, right? That is a feeling. It's only going to last so long. But then you also get the feeling of maybe it's 2 a.m. and you think, what the fuck am I doing? This is never going to work. I'm going to fail. Like the opposite, but that's still a feeling. You know what I mean? But people listen to that more than listen to the good feel. Does that make sense or not?
But you saying that you have that good feeling, you in your like body, you can feel something's right for you or not.
Yes.
So if you're like doing something every single day and you know deep down that you fucking hate it, you can feel it in your body. And that's why visualization is so important. Not just for like your brain, but like people are like, oh, it's so bullshit. But you know, you feel emotions, you cry. Why do you cry? Because you've been hurt. So, and when you're happy, you feel happy because you're doing something, you feel good. So why would that not be the same as if you're visualizing it in your brain? Because your brain can't tell the difference between something happening right in front of you or you're visualizing it in your head.
Yeah.
So it's like you with the brain, you know that it feels good. You know they want to keep doing it. And there might be times you have self-doubt, but you know the clearer goal. You know your goal because you can see it in your head. You can see it and you're playing it out that you've done it, you've made it. So it's just like getting clear on your goal and visualizing yourself as that higher person, as your higher self. Of course you're going to have doubt. It's normal. But understanding that it's going to be a journey and progress isn't always going to be linear, and that sometimes you're going to have those doubts that creep in, but just pushing through those times and just telling yourself like it's okay to be where I'm at instead of wishing you were somewhere else.
Yeah. And I wanted to also say another thing. This might be a bit like some people don't like hearing this, but this is true in my opinion. I think for you to have confidence in what you're doing, you have to prove it to yourself. Confidence to me is a relationship with yourself from you proving. Yes, some people say affirmations and stuff help. They do, but they're not going to make you confident. If you sit at home all day and you just write in a book, I'm this, I'm that, I'm that, but you don't do anything, it's not going to work.
But the reason why you write it down is because you actually believe it.
Yes,
and if you
exactly.
Because you will believe it eventually over time to the point where you'll start acting on it.
Yes. So that's where like I think some people like, I don't know, I see online some people like, yeah, I shout affirmations in the mirror. I'm like, you can do that. It's, you know, like it might do something, but you're not going to be confident unless you act on what you're saying you want to do. Like say if I just every day I just said like, I want to run a brand, like I want to own a clothing brand, but I never do it. At the end of the day, for you to run the clothing brand and have the confidence, you have to do it. You don't have to sit in a mirror and talk. You have to actually do it. So confidence, if you don't feel confident, that's okay because you probably don't have a reason to feel confident.
Yeah.
I don't have a reason to feel confident, but you need to understand that it's actually okay.
Yeah.
And you will get that over time, over a period of time of consistently showing up and proving that doubt wrong. The more times you prove the doubt wrong, the less doubtful you are. So example with investing, when you first do it, it's scary. After that, you've done it. You've proved it wrong. You built the business off videography. Doing it again isn't scary.
Yeah.
As scary. It's a little bit, but it's not nowhere near as bad.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I've already done this before.
Yeah. And back to like the affirmations thing, it's just like, well, you tell yourself every day that you're shit at something. You're not going to keep doing it because you're going to be like, oh, I'm shit at that, so I'm not going to do it. But if you start telling yourself like, I'm trying to get better, instead of saying, I am this, I am that, if you start with like, I'm trying to get better, your brain will like open up a new like neuro fucking thing, or open up a new pathway to be like, oh, I'm actually going to try at this and see how I go. Because if I just told myself I'll shit at videography, I would never have kept going.
No, you'll never
keep going.
keep going with anything.
And if you actually want to do something, deep down, if you give up, you'll know that it's not, you know deep down that you shouldn't have, or you know that you should have kept going because deep down you know this is what you want. And if you really wanted something, no matter what happens, you're going to keep doing it, especially like with the clothing.
Yeah.
You've lost $4.5 grand.
Lost a lot more than that. Actually,
I know, but like with that one,
order, yeah.
You know that it's hard and it's shit, but you know that long term, you'll look back on that and be like, I'm so glad I kept going. Because if you gave up, you wouldn't feel very good.
The way that I get through it is I talk to myself in a way of like, how are you going to feel when you give up? You're going to be proud of
exactly.
yourself.
Yeah.
Like, you're actually going to sit there and be like, fuck yeah, you gave up. Sick cunt. Like,
Yeah.
that's the best way. I apply that to everything. And some people say negative self-talk isn't bad, but I mean, it's bad. It can be, but you can use it to a very good advantage of, like, say if you're on a run or you're in the gym or same with me with the brand, you want to quit, right? Just ask yourself, how am I going to feel when I'm done? Am I going to feel good? Am I going to sit in my car after the gym and be like, fuck yeah, I gave up. That was sick. That's the best way for me to explain to someone else. If you want to, like, say with a brand, you're like, you know, you have one mistake, right? It's going to feel good. Like, you're going to feel like a stress relief of like, oh, fuck, I don't have to deal with that anymore. But just wait, maybe a few days. And then the thought's going to, if it's something you really want, the thought's going to start coming back of like, what if I just kept doing I've given up now. I can't go back on that. Then, you look like you've proven to yourself that I'm a loser. I take L's. That is when you'll start.
I take L's.
That is what you're doing, though. You're telling
but you're
yourself.
not a loser. You're just proving to yourself that your brain is going to take over.
Yes.
But that's why I mean, like, growth isn't always going to feel good. Like, in those moments, it's not always going to feel good. But you're going to have days where you feel fucking amazing and you're going to feel like you've got this and you're going to do it. And the next day you could feel the complete opposite.
And nothing's changed.
Yeah, and nothing's changed. But the day before, you could feel amazing on top of the world. Or same people with body image, they may love themselves one day, the next day they hate themselves, but they don't look any different to yesterday.
Yeah.
So it's like your brain will tell you stories. And like, even if you're tired, you're unmotivated, your brain will continue playing those stories because it wants you to feel comfortable. And when you're tired, your body doesn't want you to do things that you're uncomfortable doing.
Yeah.
So
it's good because your brain is always going to navigate towards comfortable. And comfortable is not always right. Like, it's probably a lot of the time not right. You need to really, like, it's just being more self-aware, I guess. And like I'm saying on this, like, I by no means don't get scared. I by no means don't have any doubt. I have probably more doubt than most people ever. But I felt it so much that
and that's the thing. Like, with growth, if things are shit, and even when things are good, you're meant to sit with it and feel it. If you ignore it and push through with it, it's always going to keep coming up because you haven't dealt with it. Yeah. So it's like when things get hard, you can actually learn from every experience and you can be like, okay, what happened? Why did it happen? What can I do to be better? Even like not even just in like your goals, like yourself, like, okay, today I felt like this. Today I talked to myself like this. Why did I talk to myself like this? Are you tired? Did you not sleep well last night? Did you eat like shit? So it's like learning every single day, like what you were doing as a person and being like, okay, I don't want to keep doing that to myself anymore. What can I tell myself tomorrow, or what can I do tomorrow to make myself feel good? And what can I do to nourish myself to feel good and feel like a good person? Because growth is actually you coming home to yourself because you've been living a life that you don't want to live. So you're trying to come home to who you are as a person and actually understand who you are and who you actually want to be. So when you sit with yourself, you're actually getting to know yourself as a person, because if you don't sit with yourself, you're ignoring those parts of yourself that need to be heard and understood. So it's understanding yourself and understanding how you work as a person to get to that next level, because you have to understand these parts of you because they're always going to come up and try and trigger you in some way. So it's understanding your triggers and understanding that you need to get clear with yourself and understand that these parts will always come up, but writing them down or being aware of them, or even if you're in the shower, just being like, what went well today? This went well. What went shit? What I need to improve on, and what can I do for myself to make myself feel better?
Yeah, 90% of it is just not listening to the negative. Don't let yourself get too high and don't let yourself get too low. Try and stay in like a middle zone where like you feel the highs and you feel the lows, but don't like, how do I explain it? I think some people...
Yeah, and what is that?
What?
That's your nervous system.
What do you mean?
So if you are low all the time, your nervous system's fucked. So if you're high all the time, you're stressed as fuck. So it's like, that is where coming home to yourself is like that middle baseline of being like, you'll have to change those thought patterns as well, because those thought patterns create stress. Like you think about, like you went for a run and your heart rate was through the roof, even though it was meant to be an easy run, because you're thinking negative thoughts. Yeah. So it's like your brain is actually causing your body to go into fight and flight mode because you're thinking so negatively. And that's why those affirmations and talking to yourself a different way actually bring your nervous system back down to a baseline. And doing things for yourself can bring that to a baseline. Because if you're low, and that's probably why I don't have motivation as well, because if you're low all the time, you're probably not doing things for yourself. You're probably ignoring how you feel, and you're probably just pushing yourself to the side. And that's where that can be that dangerous zone where you don't want to do anything. You're unmotivated. You can't sleep well. And those things will affect you every single day until you fix that, until you understand what do you need to do for yourself to get yourself back into that middle green zone for your nervous system.
But that's the best way to sit, is to not let yourself... So say if something good happens, don't let yourself get over the moon at it. Like, you have to, like, control your emotions.
No,
like,
but you should be proud of yourself. If
yeah,
you don't
you should be
acknowledge
proud.
yourself, and if you don't...
You're not understanding what I mean. Like, there's some people... Well, like, there's a difference between being proud of yourself and then, like, I think some people, like, they ride the happy... Their mood is based off their emotions and how they feel. Like, they're fully like, okay, if I'm having a good day, I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be nice to everyone. And then if they're having a bad day, they're really low. I think that's not a good thing to do. You don't want to ride the high and ride the low. So when you're low, you treat everyone like crap. You can't function the same, because what you're doing is you're basically relying on your emotions and how you feel to dictate how you act.
Yeah.
So you need to find a way to... It doesn't matter if you're having a shit day, you still act the same as if you're having a bad day. So if you consistently feel all the highs, you're going to work hell good on those days. You're going to be good, you're going to feel good. Then you feel the lows, you're going to do nothing. Yeah. Because you're feeling everything like... You're acting off how you feel too much, not off what needs to be done.
But that's like... That's good. That's what I was meant to say was... I meant to acknowledge yourself when things are good, but like you said, don't letting them dictate how you do things every single day, which is good.
You don't want to, like, say if, for example, I don't know, someone messages you on Instagram and calls you good looking. Now for the whole day you like are so stoked and you're so happy. You're like, oh my God, it looks so good. Yeah. And then the next day you're like, but I need that to feel good.
So it's like validation. Yes. You're relying on external things to make you feel
emotions.
better.
You're relying on a feeling.
You have to figure out why you do that as well, because
insecurity is hugely.
Yeah, but like it also doesn't just affect you, but it affects everyone around you. Yeah. And PT is like, I've understood it for so long. When you're having a shit day as a PT, you still have to show up for the person right in front of you, because it's about them. It's not about you. Yeah. So it's understanding what triggers you as well. But feeling the lows and feeling the highs isn't a bad thing, but not like you said, not letting it affect you.
Acting on them.
Yeah. But if it's shit, it's fucking shit. Feel it and sit with it and understand that it is shit, but not wishing you were somewhere else. Yeah. And understand this is where you're at right now, and not letting those bad days, like you said, affect.
At the end of the day, the ball's going to swing and something shit's going to happen at some time in your life. So don't just chase the high. And then same thing when you have a low. When you have a low, don't be like, oh, it's all over, I can't do that. Just be like, I know something good's going to happen one day. Yeah. After every low, there's usually something that happens. Yeah. This can only last so long. I'm just going to keep going. So it's both ways. You need to act both ways. But a lot of people can't. They can't regulate their emotions well enough. Everyone's victim to it. I sometimes do it. Say if you're tired or something, like, when there's a lot of bad things happening in a day and it stacks up, it can eventually affect me. But that is because I'm relying on how I feel to dictate how I act to other people in my life.
But that's if you're not sitting with yourself and understanding where it's coming from, or understanding like, okay, I've had a bad day today. I'm just going to do something for me and understand that things aren't always going to be the best. But the point is, like, if you keep riding the wave, your nervous system will always come back to a baseline more often than not. Always. Because if you're starting to feel like bored all the time, that it's because your nervous system is coming back to a room of safety. If you're on edge all the time and you're like, I need to be doing this, I need to be doing that, or you're like on the downfall and you feel like shit, you need to be like distracting yourself and numbing yourself, that isn't good either. So it's like when your nervous system is at a calm level, it will just basically you bring yourself back to a baseline more often than not, because you understand how you work as a person and you're not letting those feelings dictate your life, essentially. It always
just comes down to understanding your thought patterns. You need to ask yourself, why do I feel like this? That's the best way I can explain it. So me, I'll look at myself in the mirror. I don't like how I look, but I know why I don't like how I look. because I did a prep, I saw what I could look like, and then I always compare to that, or I compare to social media. I know that, but I'm not going to beat myself up. I'm like, you don't like how you look because you have a wide perception on how you think you should look. That's why. But
Yeah.
I'm just, for me, I can't right now, like I don't know how to fix that, like in my head. So I'm just like, the easiest way to do it is just don't even put yourself in the position. Don't talk yourself up or down. If you look at yourself, it's just how you look. It's not like I'm going to judge myself today. I need to see how I look. It's just like, if you do that, you're going to judge yourself in a bad way.
Yeah, well, then that also puts your nervous system into fight or flight. And you're going to be on edge all day to be like, how do I look as well? But when you feel something as well, you don't always have to understand where it's coming from or understand why you feel a certain way, because understanding why can also put a lot of pressure on yourself to be like, why? Where is it coming from? Where's it coming from? Sometimes you don't know, and that's okay. And sometimes you just need to sit with it and understand this is where I'm at right now and just let it be how it is, because sometimes your body's just holding onto so much energy to the point where it just needs to be released. And that's where like the next topic would be like, you can start to feel lonely in this process because you feel like no one's going to understand. You can feel like you're losing a lot of relationships, or you're losing people around you because they're not understanding, or they could even join the journey with you because they want to be better. But you'll also start to lose people because you have to let go of that old identity to become someone else. If people are holding you back to flourish into the person you want to be, then they're people that you probably shouldn't have in your life, because they're not willing to stick around or be supportive of you while you're going through this time or period. And growth is you're always going to be growing. You're never going to stop growing.
Being alone is something that everyone needs to understand isn't a bad thing.
Yeah.
Like, if you struggle to be alone, that's because you don't like yourself, most likely, or you don't. But then you don't want to get in the other spectrum where you don't, I guess, I think some people might look at me and be like, okay, you don't hang out with anyone, you don't see anyone, that's pretty antisocial. But I'm like, I don't mind that.
But you also don't really have anyone that's on your path.
Yeah.
You would rather be alone, because right now the people that were in your life don't really align with who you are as a person.
Yeah.
But it is your life, and if you don't do the things that you want to do, then you'll just be living for everyone else.
Exactly. So I'm like, in this period, I'm like, I don't have a need or a want to be socializing and going out all the time and seeing a lot of people, because I'm like, I've got other things that I need to do. It is a bad thing if you can't be alone and you can't learn to be by yourself and live for yourself. If you can't do that, then in your circumstance, it's probably not the best thing in the world, but you need to learn how to be alone. If you can't be alone, it'll be very hard for you to break out of cycles of trying to grow, because you're going to be reliant on people around you, and the people around you are essentially on the same wavelength, and they think the same as you, they act the same as you. So you trying to get away from that, if you wanted to, would be very hard.
But it's also when you're lonely, and if you're uncomfortable with that, you have to be comfortable with being with yourself, by yourself, with your thoughts, and understanding yourself as a person. The more that you can do that, you're going to break that habit, and you're actually probably going to like being with yourself, because you can understand who you are as a person. If you're not filling your cup first, you're going to probably be on edge most of the day, because you haven't done something for yourself, because you're doing everything for everyone else.
You can be yourself.
Yeah.
And putting on an act is it's
very
fucking
draining.
hard.
Yeah.
So if you put on an act, that's when you're going to feel drained around people.
Yeah.
When you have to act a certain way, or they talk to you very passive aggressive, and you have to let them do that, because if you say anything you know what I mean? Passive aggressive people and stuff like that, it can drain you, because you're they can be really rude and really I don't know, I guess straight up to you. And you having to just act like it doesn't bother you, that'll hold a weight every single time. Anything, if you're getting people making fun of you and you have to act like it doesn't hurt, that's hard. How long can you until you have to say something, you know?
What do you reckon people should take away from this?
If you continue to be comfortable in every area in your life, you're not going to progress. Because to progress, you need to go through something. That something has to give. You can't progress doing the same thing that you were doing, but what you were doing is what is comfortable. So doing something different is going to feel uncomfortable and it's going to be hard. You have to do different things, but that's how you become a different person. You don't become a different person by doing the same shit.
I think that growth shouldn't always feel familiar. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be scary. But finding ways to bring yourself back to a baseline is going to be very important. So finding tools that are going to help you. But I also probably post a YouTube video on it as well. So,
Oh, Marzi's starting YouTube.
And yeah, I said I'll probably post a video next month around this time. So
Why? Right around this time.
because it is, I'll explain it in the video. So are we doing a video on what? I already told
I
you
know
about.
why.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it because...
But yeah, so growth can feel lonely as well, but understanding that you're probably better off alone to figure out who you are as a person, and knowing that being alone is also a way to come home to yourself and understand what triggers you. And it's actually a way to bring yourself home to yourself, understand what you want as a person. So don't always think it's a bad thing, and being still and finding things that make you happy is actually what's going to make you a better person as well. And just not understanding why with every single thing that you do, not understanding why you feel a certain thing is also okay. And just sitting with yourself and accepting things for how they are is going to be the best thing for you to start moving forward.
Cheers for listening. Hopefully I wasn't too bad. And
Miles is sicky.
Yeah, I'm sick. But yeah, thank you for listening. I appreciate you all. If you do listen to the podcast, it means a lot. And Marzi said she loves everyone that listens to it.
Yeah.
And
I like the messages and support. So it's been great. So yeah. Thank you guys.
why do you do an American accent?
Thank you.
You know what?
Thank you so much for tuning into the Motion podcast. Hopefully you guys like this one. So yeah, we're actually growing quite a bit on Spotify. So we really appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, actually?
Yeah.
Oh.
So really, really appreciate it.
I haven't even been looking at it.
I do because I like stats. But yeah, really appreciate your support, and comment. Should they comment on this video if they've listened to it? Comment a peach emoji.
Okay, don't.
Comment a peach, please.
Okay, you want to end it?
Bye.